there is one choice, a single deliberate shift you can make today that will change how everyone in your life treats you forever. Not by manipulation, not by clever tricks. This is deeper. It's a fundamental change in how you move through the world, how you occupy space, how your presence is felt. History remembers the men who mastered this. Machiavelli saw it in the courts of Italy. Kings who understood it became legends. Those who ignored it became forgotten footnotes. Most men spend their lives wondering why they're overlooked, why they're interrupted, why their presence is ignored. They blame the world, they blame others. But the truth, the problem has never been them. The problem has always been the signal you broadcast without realizing it, the silent disease of approval. Look closely and you'll see it everywhere. Walk into any room, scroll through social media, or watch people interact, and you'll notice it. Men bending themselves in ways that are almost invisible, but deeply damaging. They are living with a silent disease, one that no doctor can prescribe a cure for. It's called the hunger for approval. This disease doesn't announce itself. It creeps in quietly. It shows up in small gestures that seem harmless, almost natural. The man who laughs too loudly at a joke that isn't even funny, hoping to be liked. The man who nods and agrees with opinions he secretly disagrees with, just to avoid confrontation. The man who softens his words, lowers the tone of his voice, shrinks his presence, or compromises his beliefs in ways that no one notices but himself. Every single day, without fail, these patterns repeat. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. They've been trained from childhood. Every compliment, every reward, every pat on the back when they followed the rules reinforced the idea that being liked is the most important goal in life. Society told them, be pleasant, be agreeable, fit in, don't rock the boat. And slowly, over years, this creates a man who no longer measures his worth by his own standards, but by the approval of others. Here's the truth. Being agreeable does not earn respect. It earns exploitation. It earns being overlooked, taken for granted, and discarded the moment you are no longer useful. History is full of examples. The men who begged for favor, who sought constant validation, were thrown aside when the crowd no longer needed them. The men who stood apart, who needed nothing from anyone, who were not dependent on being liked, those were the men who held real power. Their presence demanded attention. Their actions commanded influence. Their words carried weight. Approval-seeking is a kind of invisible leash. The moment your emotional state depends on someone else's reaction, you give them control over your mind. Every smile you chase, every compliment you crave, every argument you avoid, they are strings, and you are dancing to someone else's rhythm, often without even noticing it. You might think you are polite, friendly, or accommodating, but in reality you are training everyone around you to treat you as someone whose boundaries are negotiable, whose presence is optional, whose opinions are secondary. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you stayed quiet when you disagreed with someone? How many times have you laughed when you didn't find something funny? How many times have you softened your words to make someone else comfortable, even though you are uncomfortable? Each one of these moments, though small, is a brick in a pattern that tells the world, this man will bend, this man will adjust, this man can be moved. This is the silent disease, and it's more common than you think. It infects almost every man walking the earth. The danger is not visible. It is subtle, like a slow poison. By the time you recognize it, it has shaped the way people treat you, the opportunities you receive, and the respect you command or fail to command. The cure begins with awareness. You must see it clearly. Your approval seeking is not harmless. It is not a sign of being kind or polite. It is a weakness, invisible but real. And the first step to breaking free is understanding how it started. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, society itself, everyone taught you to seek approval. It was never about you. It was about making you controllable. Every time you needed validation from someone else, every time their reaction dictated your mood, you handed them the keys to your mind. But here's the secret. Those keys can be taken back. The strings that bind you can be cut. And the moment you start, your life begins to change. People will notice. They will adjust their behavior. They will treat you differently because no one ever treats a man with control over his own emotions the same way they treat someone who is dependent on approval. The disease is silent, but its effects are loud. It whispers in every interaction, every conversation, every choice you make. If you want respect, influence, and power, you must first stop dancing to everyone else's rhythm. You must stop giving your emotional energy away for free. The moment you choose yourself over the approval of others, you begin a transformation that is impossible to ignore. You are not weak for feeling this need. You are human. But the men who rise above it, the men who stand apart from the crowd, are the ones who command real power. And they do it by cutting the strings, refusing to be moved, and reclaiming their emotional independence. Emotional independence, the shift that breaks the chains. There is one change, one simple but powerful shift that separates the men who are noticed, respected, and feared from the men who are overlooked, ignored, or walked over. This shift is called emotional independence. The powerful have known it for centuries, even if they never spoke its name. It is the invisible force behind authority, presence, and influence. Once you understand it and practice it, it rewires the way the world treats you. Here is the principle: repeat it until it settles deep in your mind. Their approval means nothing. Their disapproval cannot touch me. Praise does not elevate me. Criticism does not diminish me. Most men live without this awareness. They are like thermometers. They reflect the temperature of the room around them. Someone smiles, they feel happy. Someone frowns, they feel uncomfortable. Someone criticizes, they feel small. Someone praises, they feel superior. Their entire emotional state is dictated by external forces. They are reactive, not deliberate. They are slaves to other people's opinions, moods, and approval. They chase validation and bend their minds and hearts to match everyone else. This is quiet slavery, invisible chains that most men carry without knowing. The man who is emotionally independent is different. He is a thermostat, not a thermometer. He does not reflect the moods around him. He sets them. His emotional state comes from within, from a place of inner certainty, stability, and self-respect. It is deliberate, it is constant, it does not fluctuate with the opinions or behavior of others. He is not loud, arrogant, or aggressive. He is calm. He is centered. He does not seek to prove himself, nor does he need to defend his value. His authority is quiet, unshakable, undeniable. This shift changes everything in life, but it is invisible to those who have not yet understood it. People notice it instinctively, even if they cannot name it. A colleague will pause before interrupting. A friend will choose their words more carefully. Strangers will hesitate before testing him, because at some subconscious level, they understand that he is unmoved, unshakable, and deliberate. Emotional independence is not about being cold, distant, or disconnected. It is about freedom from the constant pull of other people's opinions, moods, and judgments. It is the realization that your value, your peace, your power is something no one else can grant or take away. It lives inside you, and only you control it. The difference between a man who reacts to everything and a man who remains unmoved is like night and day. The reactive man is tossed around by emotion, circumstance, and opinion. He argues, defends, explains, pleases, apologizes, and constantly seeks validation. The independent man observes. He does not need to explain himself. He does not need to justify his decisions. He does not need approval, praise, or agreement. He is steady. He is confident. He is in control. And here is the subtle power of emotional independence. People cannot ignore it. They feel it without understanding why. Conversations shift. Interactions change. Tests of character, small provocations, jokes at your expense, subtle challenges no longer affect you. You do not flinch, react, or argue. You pass the test silently, simply by holding your composure. Over time, this rewires the way the world perceives you. People treat you differently, not because they are forced to, but because your presence demands it. Emotional independence is not learned in a day. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice. Every time you resist the urge to seek approval, every time you do not react to criticism, every time you remain steady in the face of provocation, you strengthen it. Your nervous system, your habits, your interactions, they all adapt. You no longer need permission to exist on your own terms. You become a man who cannot be shaken. This is the one shift that changes everything. Once you internalize it, your life changes. People notice, they respect you, they pause, they reconsider, they test you, and you do not flinch. They seek your attention, your approval, your opinion, but only because it is earned, never given freely. Emotional independence is not arrogance, it is mastery, it is quiet strength. It is the foundation of presence, power, and authority. Once you claim it, nothing and no one can take it from you. It is yours forever as long as you choose to remain unmoved, deliberate, and centered in yourself. Mastering perception and presence. There is one truth that most men never fully understand. Perception is everything. People rarely see who you truly are on the inside. What they see is a reflection, a projection of how you carry yourself, the signals you send through your posture, your words, your reactions, and even your silence. And this is where power lies. The strong take control of the image they project. They do not leave it to chance. Consider this: a man who fidgets, who seeks validation, who adjusts his behavior to please others, will be assumed weak before he even speaks. The room perceives insecurity before a single word is uttered. Every glance, every nervous movement, every attempt to be liked communicates something, whether you realize it or not. On the other hand, a man who moves with quiet certainty, whose presence is calm and deliberate, is assumed competent even before he demonstrates his skills. Presence communicates power long before action confirms it. Every interaction in life is a test. Not every test is obvious. Some are subtle, almost invisible, but they are there, constantly evaluating your place in the hierarchy of influence and respect. The joke at your expense is a test. Will you laugh? Will you feel embarrassed? Or will you remain steady, unshaken? The last-minute cancellation is a test. Will you complain, react, or bend to make excuses for them? Or will you treat it as irrelevant to your self-worth? The interruption in a conversation is a test. Will you yield, step back, or let them speak over you? Or will you assert your space calmly, without aggression? These moments are not random. They are signals sent by others to see where you stand, to determine whether you can be moved, influenced, or controlled. Most men fail these tests without even realizing it. They laugh when they shouldn't, apologize unnecessarily, retreat to avoid conflict. Each failure reinforces the world's perception of them as pliable, weak, or unworthy of full respect. The man who understands perception, however, approaches every interaction differently. He holds his ground. He embraces silence instead of rushing to fill it. He allows discomfort to exist in the room without flinching. And in doing so, he passes the test quietly but decisively. The tester recalibrates, often without realizing why. They adjust their behavior, their words, their assumptions about you. The change is subtle but permanent. Silence is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Speaking too much, revealing too much, explaining yourself repeatedly, these are weaknesses. They reduce your value. They make your presence ordinary, your words cheap. Conversely, when you speak less and reveal less, your words become rare, valuable, and magnetic. Mystery is not deception. It is strength. It is presence. It is control over how the world experiences you. Mastering perception does not mean being false or manipulative. It means deliberate self-presentation. Every posture, every gesture, every glance becomes a choice, not a reflex. The strong understand that how you appear is just as important as what you do. They cultivate calm confidence, measured behavior, and steady energy. They know that people respond to signals first, words second. Perception and presence are inseparable. Presence is the energy you radiate. Perception is how that energy is read. When you combine the two, calm authority with conscious control over your signals, you become almost untouchable. People instinctively respect what they cannot easily influence. They adjust to you, they accommodate you, they notice you, even when you are silent. Remember, life is a constant series of small tests. Each interaction tells a story about your value and influence. Most men fail because they react instinctively. The man who masters perception passes silently, consistently, deliberately. Over time, this mastery becomes automatic. People treat him differently, not because he demands it, but because he has earned it simply by existing with quiet authority. Mystery, composure, and the conscious management of perception are not tricks, they are skills. Skills that create presence. Presence that creates influence. Influence that commands respect. And respect, once established, changes everything. The key is simple but profound. Speak less, reveal less. Hold your ground and let the world read you as you choose to be read. Presence is power. Perception is authority. Together, they form the foundation of a life lived deliberately, respected universally, and controlled on your own terms. Scarcity and value. One of the most powerful truths in life is simple, yet almost no one truly understands it. Humans assign value to scarcity. Think about it. When something is always available, we barely notice it. We take it for granted. We forget its worth. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the person who always says yes to us, they become ordinary because they are endless, predictable, and abundant. Now, contrast that with something rare, something hard to reach, something that requires effort to acquire. Humans naturally assign importance, attention, and respect to scarcity. What is limited commands interest. What is difficult to access creates desire. The world instinctively treasures what cannot be taken for granted. And here is the secret. This principle applies to you, your time, your attention, your presence. Most men behave as if their energy and attention are infinite. They are constantly available, constantly accessible, constantly saying yes. Every message answered instantly, every invitation accepted, every moment devoted to others sends a signal. I have no other options. My life is empty without you. My attention is yours for the taking. It is the opposite of value. It communicates weakness, predictability, and dependence. To claim real power, you must reverse this pattern. Stop being instantly available. Stop flooding your time, energy, and attention into everyone else's life. Stop orbiting people who do not orbit you. Stop making your presence easy to access. Instead, build a life that is so full, so rich, so purposeful, that being around you is not automatic, it is earned. This is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the quiet signal of value. Scarcity communicates, this is not for everyone, this is worth effort, this is meaningful. The moment you stop giving your energy freely, the world begins to treat you differently. People notice. They feel your absence. They pause. They adjust. They stop assuming that your time, attention, and effort are theirs by default. And in doing so, they begin to respect you without you even saying a word. Becoming scarce is not about playing games, faking importance, or being deliberately aloof. It is about creating a life with gravity of its own. When your attention is selective, your presence becomes magnetic. People seek it rather than take it for granted. When your energy is finite, it becomes precious. And when your life is full of purpose, you no longer orbit others, you become a destination. A man who embodies scarcity is noticed even when he is absent. His absence carries weight. His presence draws attention. He does not demand respect. He commands it simply by existing with value. People adjust around him instinctively. They recognize that access to him is not automatic, that his attention must be earned, and that his life has a rhythm and purpose independent of theirs. Think of scarcity as a lens for all your interactions. Each moment you do not respond instantly, each time you do not give your energy freely, each boundary you hold without apology, you reinforce your worth. You signal that your attention is not disposable. that your presence is not cheap, and that your time is one of your most valuable resources. Scarcity communicates internal control. It communicates power. It communicates self-respect. The man who understands this becomes untouchable in subtle ways. He is not cold, he is centered. He is not distant, he is deliberate. He does not chase approval, nor does he overextend himself. He lives on his own terms. People notice when he enters a room, and they notice when he leaves. His life has weight, and his presence becomes a standard by which others unconsciously measure themselves. Remember this: the world treasures what is limited. Your attention, your time, and your energy are limited. Treat them as such. Stop giving them away for free. Stop orbiting everyone else. Be scarce, be valuable. Be the man whose presence is earned and whose absence is felt. Becoming untouchable. Imagine a man like this. He enters a room, and at first it seems as if nothing changes. The air does not shift visibly, yet something about him alters the atmosphere in ways people can feel but cannot name. He does not raise his voice. He does not announce his arrival. He does not seek attention, and yet everyone notices. His presence commands it without demand. People instinctively adjust their posture, their tone, their behavior, because even unconsciously, they sense the quiet authority radiating from him. This man is untouchable, not because he has built walls or hidden behind defenses or isolated himself from the world, but because he has mastered himself. His inner foundation is unshakable. His mind is deliberate, his emotional state is constant. He does not allow insults to wound him, nor praise to inflate him. The words of others bounce off him like pebbles on stone. Insults are insignificant, criticism is observed, not absorbed. Praise washes over him like rain, felt, but not hoarded. Manipulators, deceivers, and opportunists often try to influence him. They test him, provoke him, push his boundaries, but their tools fail. His calm is impenetrable. His presence is steady. His confidence is not loud or desperate. It is quiet, unshakable, deliberate. People cannot manipulate him because he has reclaimed control over himself. Every boundary he sets, every small test he passes without flinching, every silence he holds in the face of discomfort, all of it reinforces his power. These are not grand gestures, but deliberate actions that accumulate over time. Each one sends a signal. I am not moved by chaos. I am not swayed by opinion. I do not yield to pressure, and the world notices. Slowly, consistently, people begin to recalibrate how they perceive him. They speak differently. They act differently. They measure their own behavior against his standard. Respect is no longer optional. It becomes automatic. Being untouchable is not about being cold, distant, or emotionally detached. It is about control, stability, and deliberate presence. It is the ability to exist in the world fully without dependence on anyone else's approval, recognition, or validation. It is about being centered so deeply in your own value that external forces cannot disturb your peace. This man is a reference point. His decisions are intentional. His gaze is steady. His voice is calm. His energy radiates clarity and certainty. People sense it in ways they cannot explain, but they respect it instinctively. They may test him, but the tests no longer elicit fear, anxiety, or reaction. They simply observe and adjust. Becoming untouchable is a process, not an event. It is built moment by moment. Each time you resist the urge to explain yourself, to chase approval, to react impulsively, you add another layer to your foundation. Each time you hold your silence, maintain your composure, and assert your boundaries without apology, you fortify your presence. Over time, this accumulation transforms you. You are no longer a man who can be shaken. You are a man who is seen, respected, and felt simply by existing in his own power. True untouchability is not about fear, it is about recognition. The world recognizes a man who has mastered himself, who cannot be moved by chaos, who cannot be manipulated, and who lives deliberately. People do not question him, they adjust to him. They respect him without even realizing why. His power is quiet, but absolute. This is the man you are becoming. Every choice, every boundary, every silence, every deliberate action builds toward it. You are untouchable, not because the world leaves you alone, but because you have left the need for its validation behind. You have become your own standard. You have become gravity. You have become solidity. You have become untouchable. Your command: act now. Knowledge alone changes nothing. Understanding alone is powerless. Every insight, every lesson, every truth you absorb will vanish like smoke unless it is put into action. Action is the only thing that transforms potential into reality. Without it, all the principles you have learned are nothing more than entertainment, interesting, enlightening, but ultimately useless. Tomorrow will bring your test. A moment will arrive where the old version of you, the version conditioned by approval, fear, and insecurity, would immediately react. You will feel it, the familiar pull, the urge to explain yourself, the urge to soften your stance, the urge to agree even when you don't believe, the urge to retreat, to look away, to fill the silence with nervous words. Your instincts will demand compliance. They will scream for validation. Do nothing. Hold your ground. Do not speak to justify yourself. Do not nod to appease. Do not retreat to comfort. Embrace the silence. Steady your gaze. Feel the discomfort fully and do not flinch. That moment, brief as it may seem, is the crucible of transformation. One single instance of practiced independence is worth more than 100 hours of theory, more than countless books or speeches. One moment becomes two, two moments become 10, 10 become 100. Each moment reinforces the last. Each small victory teaches your nervous system, your instincts, and your presence to operate from a place of unshakable authority. Step by step, moment by moment, the man in the mirror begins to shift. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, he becomes someone untouchable, someone who no longer dances to the rhythm of others' approval, someone whose presence commands respect without effort, without demand, without noise. This transformation is not about becoming someone else. It is not about adopting a mask or playing a role or pretending to be powerful. It is about shedding the layers imposed on you by a world designed to control, manipulate, and minimize you. All the obedience, all the fear of judgment, all the desperation for approval, it was never yours. It was installed, programmed, conditioned. The man you are becoming is the original version of yourself, primal, deliberate, centered, and unshakable. Expect resistance, expect confusion. Not everyone will understand your change. Some will resent it. Some will try to pull you back into old patterns, subtly or openly. They were accustomed to having control over your emotions, your decisions, your energy. They will resist losing that control. Let them go. Their departure is not a loss. It is a filter. The people who remain in your life will be those capable of meeting you on your new terms, those who respect your boundaries and your presence. For every person who drifts away, 10 more will be drawn toward you. 10 more will sense your gravity, your clarity, your certainty. They will respect your time. They will respect your energy. They will seek your attention, your approval, your input, but only because it is earned, not because it is given freely. You become the man around whom life naturally adjusts, the man whose presence is valued, whose absence is felt, whose authority is recognized without explanation. The path is simple, but not easy. It requires courage, consistency, and persistence. Each moment of independence strengthens your foundation. Each act of emotional mastery, each refusal to seek approval, each deliberate choice to remain unmoved adds another brick to the fortress of your presence. Over time, these bricks form walls of quiet, unshakable power. Walls that no insult, no provocation, no manipulation can breach. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for conditions to improve. You are not waiting to feel ready. The time is now. The moment is now. The man you were meant to be has been inside you all along. Every test you face is your opportunity to claim it. Every challenge is a chance to forge the man in the mirror into someone untouchable. This is your command. Act, stand your ground, hold your silence, steady your gaze, feel the discomfort and do not flinch. Begin today and commit to it tomorrow. One moment becomes 100. 100 moments become your life. And in time, the man in the mirror will no longer seek approval, will no longer be moved by criticism, will no longer be shaken by chaos. He will be untouchable. The world will notice. Your presence will speak before your words. Your boundaries will shape relationships. Your influence will grow quietly but powerfully. Your life will no longer orbit others. It will draw them to you. This is the ultimate reward for action. This is the path to mastery. This is the moment to begin. You are not far from this. Every principle you've absorbed tonight is a brick in your foundation. Every choice you make reinforces your frame. Every boundary you hold builds your kingdom. Declare it. I am the unmoved center. Say it, own it, live it. Let it anchor you every time old patterns try to pull you back. You are not alone. You are part of a silent army, reclaiming power one boundary at a time. The blueprint is yours. The path is clear. The question is simple. Will you walk it? Stay solid, stay sharp, stay untouchable.